Hey guys, welcome back to another video. My name is Ryan Styles Harris, and in this video, we are doing a perhaps long-awaited 8-scale race review. I'm not the best 8-scale racer out there, but I definitely am doing my best, and I had a lot of fun. Recently, I went up to the Adrenaline RC Raceway for their annual Invitational race. It's a race that they put on, and they get to have a lot of fun with their locals and a few out-of-towners and just have a great weekend of racing. The last video I just posted was with Daniel Evans. He's a motocross kid, and he got to race an RC car for the first time, all thanks to everyone over my Patreon, and he had a blast. So now we get to take a look at how things went for me. So I have two very exciting pieces of news for today's video. The trip and all the travel expenses was definitely helped out a lot by Skillshare. Their promotion and continued support for the channel definitely helped the plane ticket and travel expenses and all that stuff, so more on that in a second. The second piece of news I'm actually really excited about because I try to do my best that anytime I take on like a sponsor or something like that, I always ask them if they are willing to give you guys a discount code or some support of any kind. So Jason Snyder, the man himself, White Lightning, has given us a discount code that you guys can use on his tires on his website. So please check that out. It is one of the links down below at the top in the description, and you guys can use that however you would like. Because I know, trust me, tires are expensive and we go through a lot of them. So hopefully that'll help out a lot of you guys keep that tire budget down a little bit so you can get out there and do some more racing. Now, more about today's sponsor, Skillshare. For those of you that don't know, Skillshare is an online learning platform for passionate creators like yourself. They have thousands of classes to deepen your passions and interests and just help you get better at anything you're looking to do. I know that I've shown you guys in the past that I have done some woodworking stuff. I've looked at some business management skills, and today's class I wanted to show you real quick is a little bit interesting. You know those kind of like viral TikTok or Instagram clips of some dude out in the wilderness that's cooking like a really nice piece of meat over an open flame? Well, I actually wanted to like try and see if there's something on here to figure out how to do something like that. And by golly, take a look at this class here. So this class here by Zachary is the Grilling Fundamentals, Cooking Chicken Over a Live Fire. And it's pretty cool. He breaks it down, gives a general introduction, how to build the fire, prepping the chicken, spatchcocking. I don't know what that is, but I'm sure that after I watch this, I will know how to do this. Guys, I'm passionate about learning new things and really having a fundamental understanding of how to do them. And that's what Skillshare is here to help you do. It's curated specifically for learning. There's no ads. They're always launching new premium classes, so you can stay focused and follow wherever your creativity takes you. So they're continuing to help you guys out with that link down below. First 1,000 of my subscribers will get a 1-month free trial of Skillshare. So you got nothing to lose. So I don't know about you guys, but I'm hungry and I'm looking forward to cooking a chicken over an open fire. So thanks again to Skillshare. Now, let's dive into the race weekend, shall we? So TLR 8XE Elite kit over here, and this was actually my first weekend running it, so I didn't really have like a baseline setup. We were just figuring it out as we went along. For the setup, we have a Hobbywing ESC and motor. I know this isn't the most current generation. It's because I don't really race a whole lot of 8-scale, and this is what I had to make this vehicle work for the weekend, and honestly it worked just fine for me. Anything more faster or betterer probably would have gotten me into more trouble because this track layout didn't need all the power in the world, so it was perfect for my needs this weekend. We have the XR8 SCT ESC. I know that I went with this back in the day. I actually probably bought this ESC over a year ago, and it was simply because it's a smaller platform, so just saving weight, trying to keep the vehicle a little bit light, and it worked pretty well. I know now they have an improved XR8 Plus ESC, and if I was to go purchase anything currently, that's probably the ESC that I would go with. Got the Trinity 5500 white carbon battery in there. It's the LCG battery, so a little bit lower, definitely helped the vehicle handle a little bit better. Biggest performance upgrade, I would say, and I definitely want to start with, is the rear end. And what do I mean? Lit RC makes a C&D block system for this vehicle that allows you to use a totally adjustable rear end pill system. So you can move the C block up, down, in, out, whatever, and same thing with the D. The reason why this is important is because you can do something where you narrow the overall pivot width of the rear end. As the kit comes, you can only do a singular movement on the C and then the opposite on the D. You can't completely move a hinge in and out like you can the way it's sitting now. The way it felt on the track, I'll try and explain this briefly. The pivot width felt very wide. This may be fine for tracks that are very fast, have lots of big jumps, and you need the vehicle to be a little bit less reactive when you're at high speeds. It's totally fine. The track I was at this weekend was a little bit on the tighter side. It wasn't super open in all the areas. We had a lot of switchbacks and 180s, so I needed the vehicle to turn and rotate very quickly. With the way that the rear end felt out of the box, it was just very flat, and it didn't really want to respond much. In the words of Lee, he was helping me out over the weekend. He was watching my car go around the track and he said, "Ryan, it looks like you're just not able to get the car to rotate." So we went ahead and put on the lit RC rear end, and that definitely was a step in the right direction. We narrowed up that pivot width and the car started to feel a lot better. Immediately after that, we played around with our inner camber links and the overall length of the rear camber link. After talking with Lee, we raised the inner rear link and we shortened it on the hub itself by a hole. This definitely helped the rear end free up a little bit, and it definitely rotated in the corners a lot better versus a lower and longer link. Up front, we did change a couple things to help the car to steer a little bit quicker. We went ahead and went to the lightest front sway bar that I had, which is a 2.2. I believe I started the weekend off on a 2.5, and it was just too stiff. Didn't let the car initiate that roll in the corners, so when I lightened up that sway bar, it definitely helped us out. Then in the front of the car, I actually lowered the inner camber link because I wanted the weight transfer to happen a little bit faster. As soon as I started to decelerate, I want that car to get on the nose, generate some grip, and start turning. So that was definitely a welcomed change. Other biggest thing that I'm going to say I have on this setup is the VRP pistons. I'm a huge fan of those, and I definitely really liked the way they felt on this track this weekend. I started off the weekend on some pretty thick oil. I think I was at 42.5 up front and 37.5 in the rear, and the car wasn't getting in the track. It just kind of stayed on top. It was just kind of floating around. So we went ultimately, I think I had to go down one increment at a time, but I ended on 37.5 up front and 32.5 in the rear. Once I got to that point for this particular track and the ambient temperature and all that jazz, it felt great. I think that if I was in a warmer climate and a faster track, these oils might be a little bit too light, but for the layout that Adrenaline had on this weekend, it was money. Tires, we had the Raw Speed Radars in a super soft compound, and surprisingly, I was on the same exact set from practice 1 all the way to my mains the entire weekend. So one set for each car, and they felt great. The more I ran them, the better they got. I was saucing every run with the liquid wrench, and then I did try a little bit of the green FDJ because a lot of the locals up there liked it, and I didn't really notice too big of a difference, but it definitely helped either way. I liked the tire to be completely dry with the sauce before I went out. I felt that it was performing the best when I did that. So as far as Ebuggy, that's all the setup changes and things that I went through throughout the weekend. So I'll go ahead and jump into a little bit of A1 and A2 so you guys can see the action there. And when I come back, we'll jump into the Nitro car.
Going lap 1, you're launching into the middle of the all-place on the launch pad. We're going in less than 5 on the toe. You're leader. Bill, you didn't get the memo? I'm confused. Alright, we got to... Here we go. Reset there. Very good. Not quite getting the purpose. Oh, that was a nice shot. Your leader.
Sorry, Garrett.
After 1 minute, the top drivers are reset in first place, followed by Jacob Harbison in second place, followed by Ethan Mathonic in fifth place. Your leader. These steps are getting a little excellent there. Your leader. We're going less than 5 all the time. Your leader. No one wrecked in the first turn. Sweet.
Sorry, Garrett.
Your leader.
Ooh, Ethan McKinnon makes the pass. Jacob Harbison had a tiny error. His leader makes it very interesting at the end. Oh, Ethan almost tried to give it away in the exact same location.
After 1 minute, the top drivers are reset in first place, followed by Ethan Mathonic in second place, followed by Jacob Harbison in fifth place. Your leader.
As we got a battle between Ryan and Buzzy Wiggett on the right side of the track. 2 and 3, Jacob Harbison and Ethan McKinnon battling it out in the corkscrew.
Your leader.
That was crazy entrance into the launch pad.
After 3 minutes, 1 second, the top drivers are reset in first place.
So not too bad for somebody that doesn't do 8-scale stuff. Had a really great battle with Javon and Buzzy throughout the weekend. It was really fun racing with those guys. Lee, Jacob, and Seth were kind of in their own world. I didn't really have anything for them this weekend in this class. So they kind of checked out, and I knew it was going to be a battle for kind of like that 4th, 5th spot overall. I was really happy with it. Looking forward to trying that again. Not sure when I'll have another 8-scale race because I got a couple 10-scale things coming up, but overall, pretty happy with my weekend. Let's jump into the Nitro car because this is obviously the only one that matters. So starting off the weekend, I have the last time I ran this car, I already had the Lit RC rear end on this car. So we started there, definitely kept it. In the pivot position, we were 1 down and in, 1 down and in. Same thing for the Ebuggy, in case you were wondering. So we left it there. Same thing in the front end. I had that thick sway bar up front, and so I went ahead and went down to my 2.2 and definitely felt better. As far as the camber link positions, we just matched everything that was on the Ebuggy, and it was definitely the way to go on this car as well. VRP pistons, we went ahead and matched the same oils, 37.5 up front, 32 in the rear, and we pretty much just drove the car. My biggest challenge with Nitro is I'm not used to a clutch. That lack of immediate constant power without it being engaged properly or consistently, it's just weird. I'm not used to it. I need to practice it to get better. So from the beginning to the end of the weekend, I would like to think that I made some progress. We went ahead and qualified 2nd overall, somehow, going into the Nitro main. and I honestly felt really good. We got the car to a point where it's pretty drivable. I wasn't too concerned about the setup. I just had to put in some clean laps and just be consistent. So second, going into the A main behind Lee Setzer, I'll go ahead and jump into it. You guys can see what happened here, and when I'll be back, we'll wrap this whole puppy up.
Then you can move to whichever location you want. We are starting on pit lane. So if you do anything with your car, stop power, or if you're not in, you go find somebody who will get it. Alright, so there is coming in this time by. Drop it down. Now I will be on mic.
Yeah, dude! I'm like decent going out.
Hey Ryan, you're not jumping this, are you?
No, I'm not jumping that or this.
After 4 minutes, the top riders are reset with a first place, followed by Ryan Harris in fifth place. Followed by Ryan Harris in sixth place.
Thank you very much. We have picked up Spider-Man and picked up our Spider-Man. That's the sign. Quickly about that. There's a sign. Looks like Harris coming in for you. The ball still up. We'll see how this cycles out here momentarily.
After 7 minutes, the top riders are reset with a first place, followed by Devon in second place.
7 minutes in. 7 minutes in. Devon Malley coming in for the fuel. This one is still Candy Pete Harris. Harris coming out there with Devon still in pit. Harris takes over that number 2 spot. Really slow fuel stop for Devon. So Harris now has 8 auto time. Oh, come on, Devon Malley. 8-1. So with a pressure on back there, but then. Oh, issues from Harris. Whipping it in. Not sure if that's been better than set with Devon Malley. That car's still going.
It's done.
Oh, Ryan's lack of 8-scale Nitro knowledge strikes again. So what ended up happening is the set screw on the outdrive to the rear gearbox, it backed out, and I was left with just front wheel drive at that point. So obviously no sense in trying to finish the race and just blow up the motor and destroy my drivetrain. So we just pulled it off and, had to live to fight another day. But huge shout out to Hannah Hardison. She was my volunteer pit person, and she did a awesome job. Hannah, if you're watching, I know you were super nervous and didn't want to mess anything up, but you literally took me from 3rd place, smooth controlled pit stop, put me back out, and I was in 2nd, and I was like 5 seconds ahead of the battle that I was having with Javon. So you're a pro pit stop person, and you definitely are ready to pit stop for Lee if he ever needs you to. So kudos to you, and I'm sorry I let the team down. Cars were awesome. I really can't complain. I had an awesome weekend at this Adrenaline RC Raceway. I really hope that I can plan to go back next year. The whole Hardison family and the atmosphere and everything they had, it was just top notch. It really was. It was a perfect balance of everyone was having fun. We weren't being super serious and not enjoying the weekend, and we still had some good competitive racing pretty much every time we were out on the track. So I really hope that we can plan to go back there. And if any of you guys are in that surrounding area and you haven't checked it out, definitely put that on your calendar for next year. I believe they do it every year at the first weekend of October. So that's it from my 8-scale weekend experience. I hope that you guys enjoyed it. Maybe you learned something from my woes and mistakes, and it can keep you on the track and going on. Thanks again to Skillshare for sponsoring this video. Thanks everyone over on my Patreon. You guys are awesome. And that discount code for some raw speed tires, I hope that you guys find that useful. It is one of the links down in the description below. I don't have anything else to say. I'm still a little bit bummed that didn't finish that Nitro main, because kind of had just a little something for Lee there in the beginning. So next time we'll finish it out next year. That's it. I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace. Why can't I finish an 8-scale race? Like, you know, it's those things, they just frustrate you, but then at the same time, they suck you in. It's like, it's addicting. It's an abusive relationship, okay? Somebody help me. I need help. I don't know what the answer is.